Yo, what's happening? Dave Acton back again with a brand new episode of Larynx Limelight, chopping it up with hip hop and grime artists from across Wales, talking about their inspirations, their origins, their intentions. I completely got that back to front, but we'll run with it anyway. All of that, as Chu would say. First things first, as always, thank you for the support across all of our platforms, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, whatever. You can go and check us out on all of them at Larynx Entertainment. It's the same across all of them, more or less. Also, be sure to go and buy some merch, which, again, I've forgotten to whack on because I'm an idiot. But, yeah, we've got merch available. Link will be down in the description for that, as well as event tickets. We've got Larynx Live 4 coming up in November. Get them early, because why not? We might not be allowed out yet, but November, fingers crossed and all that. There you go. We get a preview just there, just there. Before I introduce him, so let's introduce him. One of the rapidly rising talents out of North Wales, steadily becoming very known across the country and has made such an impact in a short space of time. We've got man like Ziggy T. How's it going, bro?
Hey. How's it going, lad?
Yeah,
you good?
Not bad, mate, not bad. As it is the day of we are filming on the day of the final. Have you any interest in the slightest in the Euros tonight?
Oh, I'm so sorry, but no, I haven't got a conversation for that.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Just football, not your thing, or just sport?
Do you know what? I played a lot when I was younger, but like watching, never been a massive fan of. My dad's a massive Stockport County fan, and we used to go watch the local games, but nothing major. Like I've never really been that.
That's where you're from originally, right?
Yeah, originally, yeah, I'm from Stockport originally. I moved here 10 years ago now. I was 15. Well, it'll be 11 years this year, I think it is. But yeah, 15 I was when I moved here. So I did the last year of school there, and that was it. I was open to whatever I needed to do in Wales. But yeah, I've lived there since, and I love it. Absolutely love it.
Brilliant. Because what I have trouble pronouncing the area that you're from. So what is the area that you're from?
As in where I live now?
Yeah.
Amlwch. So
yeah. So yeah, and that is part of Anglesey, correct?
Anglesey, yeah. So yeah, top left-hand corner of Anglesey. Yeah. But yeah, it's not like Anglesey is obviously known as like a touristy place, but it's not the touristy sort of spot. It's more like, you know, you live a town basically, you just live there. There's not really caravan sites or anything like that. But you know, a little 10-15 minute drive, you're at those spots sort of thing. But yeah, it's quite a nice spot of Anglesey. I quite like it. It's a good spot.
You only have to look at the videos that you've put out, especially that rain.
So
the view.
The rain was shot about not even 10-minute walk sort of thing from where we live. It's such a good spot, and it was stupid not to utilize it. Do you know what I mean? Not to have that as a main focus point of a video, because it's just beautiful. You know,
it's ridiculous. Like, I'm like, obviously, you know, the Welsh Greenland, absolutely love it to pieces. We were in mid Wales in the last week, and the views just it's like something out of Jurassic Park, mate. And like it was the same for that video. That's what caught me off guard with that video. It's so beautiful, it's unreal.
Well, when we first the opening drone shots of that, when we did that first, that was pretty much the first thing we did, and we knew from that point this is going to be a good video. Like, because at first we didn't know where we were going with it. We don't really go into the videos with that much of a plan. We're not sort of like, we're quite raw with the way we do everything, really, because obviously I work with Follow Boy Drowsy a lot. He does quite a few bits with us, and he literally lives upstairs. Like, but yeah, so we try to keep everything quite raw. We don't plan too much ahead, if you will. We sort of just go in it and see what happens, and that's exactly what we did with that video. But it was one of two videos. The video we dropped just before it, 6 Cents, that they're both edited and filmed by someone that isn't sort of like part of what we do in hip hop. He's just someone who was doing a bit of film and media in college and wanted to give it a shot. It's fair, they turned out really good. So yeah, I was happy with it.
Yeah, no complaints this side. Sometimes you got to make do with what you've got at your disposal. But yeah, 100%. Those visuals are solid visuals, and the tracks as well.
Thank you.
More into the music side of things, you weren't necessarily like, you've been involved in music for a while, so it seems, looking back through, you know, because we have to go through the Facebook.
Yeah.
But you've been involved with music for time, or so it seems.
8 years old is when I started really picking it up. That's when I was like, right, okay, you know, this is something I want to get into. My whole family, every male on my father's side is a musician. And yeah, my granddad, from my dad's side, he's a drummer. He plays in a jazz band. 86, and he's still going today. You know, he's got a gig next week. So yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. But yeah, my dad plays guitar, so I picked up the guitar at 8, I think it was, when I got my first guitar, and then slowly but surely, he didn't really teach me as such. I started teaching myself. He was playing something that I was not into at the time, like, you know, 8 years old. I wasn't into the classic 70s, 80s stuff, like, sort of thing. But slowly weaned myself into all that, and then but I taught myself everything I know. I've taught myself, sort of thing, all the way through. But yeah, so I started then.
So
then
what
band
would
started,
you have,
obviously.
sorry, what would you have been performing then? Because obviously I've seen snaps of you performing at gigs and whatnot. So what would you have been performing at these times?
So it started off very indie, maybe not in, but Oasis, that sort of stuff, Arctic Monkeys, all that. That's where it started. You know, I was in a band for a few years in high school. I was the first proper one, which was called the Puppeteers. Don't search us. Yeah, we were terrible.
Let me just write it down.
Yeah, it was where it started, you know, and it wasn't that I wasn't in. I've always been into every type of music, really. By about 10, 11, I was flocking onto everything you could imagine. I've just started high school. Grime was a big thing in our school, so that was always around. And then we had the indie side of it, like I say, and I wasn't really one for a group as such. I hung around with a lot of people. I was cool with a lot of people, so I picked up a lot of influences in music, and although I wasn't doing hip hop at that age, and I wasn't sort of like writing or anything like that, I was already listening to it. But yeah, as far as music goes, I was playing at the time, it was all indie style stuff at that point. And I was just a basic rhythm guitarist, really, play a few chords on the stage, do a bit of backup singing, which was terrible because you know, I hadn't gone through the stage in life where your manlyhood changes and you change your voice, and I sounded like a little weasel. But yeah,
I'm right there with you there, mate. I remember, like, I was choir boy. I was flat out choir boy when I was in school, and then like 13, 14, it all goes south, and
yeah,
the voice is absolutely gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so were you performing in Stockport at this point, or would that have come later on, or you were performing?
No, yeah. I've been performing since we started the band. Literally the year we started the band, we started performing. We did like the local talent shows. We did like any like birthdays of our year. People in our year would have birthdays and stuff, so we'd go along and play at those and things. We did loads of little bits. Our school was a performing arts school, so in Stockport, and I was there from year 7 to year 10, so for 3-4 years. And when I was there, we had recording studios built and things like that in the school, so we were free after school or in lunches or anything like that. We'd just go there, record and stuff. And although I don't think we've even any of us band members have got that stuff, but it was something at our point in time that we all like buzzed off and got into. So I've been recording since 11, 12, and that was all done by ourselves. Well, there was no, you know, teacher teaching us. It would literally be on YouTube. Well, not YouTube at that point, but more on the internet, searching how to use all this equipment and stuff. And they had proper gear in there. You know, it was all analog, good stuff, proper mixes, everything. It was brilliant.
Mad. So
yeah,
with you then leaving Stockport to come to Wales, how was that transition? I mean, so you've sort of left the band behind essentially then when you've come to Anglesey. So
by that point we sort of not disbanded, but we was doing our own little things. We weren't gigging anymore, we weren't recording. It was just we get together on a Saturday every now and again and have a bit of a jam and things. It wasn't massive by the end of it anyway. I'd sort of taken a back foot on the guitar because I was focused on other things in life. I was skating at that point and things like that, so music wasn't a 4 point, but I was still playing at home, still putting the blues tracks on in the background and jamming to them and things like that, but it wasn't anything forming wise. And then when I moved here, I sort of saw it as a chance to change my persona and change who I was a little bit. Not that in Stockport, it was a very different life because the city culture really does shine on everyone. Like, you know, you've got to not act in a certain way, but you've got to keep yourself a little bit different than you would normally act, sort of thing. And I came here and it was a completely different story, you know, like there wasn't groups like there was in my old school and things like that, you know, so I could be more myself. So yeah, I changed sort of the groups I was hanging around with. So metal started coming in at that point and things like that a lot more. And I was listening to a lot of like heavy lead guitarists and things, and that's where I started then picking up more instruments and stuff as well, and learning other genres and stuff like that. And then so it just kept building from there really. And then I'd have breaks and I'd come back to it, and I'd have breaks and come back to it. And about, I think it was about 19, we started a metal band called Haze, and that was like that one was, for me, was where I started trying to become a musician, if you will. You know, it was a bit of a dream then at that point. Before, it was always just a bit of fun. But as you get older, you realize, hang on, there might be a bit of money here somewhere. And you know, and then there's always the dream then. But at that point though, I was still massively learning the guitar. Like I felt like at that point, I'd been playing for a long time, and I've been playing for like 8-9 years, and I'd always kept it to sort of the basics. I'd never really tried to go outside the box or try and push myself or anything like that. It was always just learn a song or learn a cover, and that would be it. I wouldn't really try and so much anyway, write my own songs or, you know, learn any lead or anything. So at that point, I really started learning all that. And one of my best mates at the time, he was in the guitarist in the band. He's phenomenal, and he's doing his own little thing now, like sort of thing. But he sort of like leaned me into it, taught me a bit more guitar, and then give me that, you know, that spark you get when you're around other people, you bounce off and you're like, right, okay, I need to go home tonight and learn that or do this. And so that started happening. So now I would class myself as a pretty good guitarist as well. It's sort of rounding me off, and then learning other instruments again still along the way. And then we sort of did a few bits. We went to this massive, not massive, but amazing recording studio in Scotland, where you rent out like it's almost like a cottage, if you will, like a barn. It turned into like a little cottage. We stayed there for a week, and we had this whole recording studio to ourselves, and we could just record 24 hours a day. And we absolutely jammed it out and got loads of songs done. And then they never materialized because we just started disbanding at that point as well. So it seems my recording career, most of the time we get it done or we get halfway there and then it sort of quits. And then that band disbanded because we were all just in too many commitments, man. We had like basically had like everyone was in the chefing industry, or like they were all waiters or they worked barman and things like that. And that is just crazy when you got 5 guys all trying to get time off. Me and my brother at the time, my brother was the lead vocalist, I was the rhythm guitarist and the backup vocalist, and we both worked in the exact same kitchen, both as a chef, and getting that time off together on a Friday, Saturday night, they were just like, no, what are you talking about? You know, that ain't happening. So it slowly disbanded because everyone started getting too busy. I still massively loved metal at the time, and I was still playing it, and I was still thinking about, oh, you know, one day we'll start back at it, sort of thing. But we just never sort of materialized. And then, it was a bit of a weird one, really. I just, from that point, I started writing. I'd been writing in the past over the years since about 18. I've done you know, you get home after school, not after school, after work, and then you just have that sort of rough day sort of thing, and you just sort of vent with a little freestyle. It means nothing, and it doesn't really. it would start off like that, and then slowly progress from there with like writing and stuff. I never really wrote for a while, and then the American accent came in for a bit, and started trying to rap without being me, because I hated my voice.
As we all do at one point, mate. As we all do.
I will say I completely switched my life. I was purely listening to hip hop at that point for about 2 years, and it was purely American style stuff. There was there was a little bit of influence from like the big, you know, like Dirty Dyke and people like that, but I wasn't clocking those type of people. I was listening to like Tech Nine and Token and people like that, who more on the trap sort of side of it, which is relatively funny now because I don't think you'll ever catch me on a trap beat. If you've heard some of the old stuff that actually did get taken down, then yeah, it'll never happen again. I doubt it. Anyway, it's not that I don't like trap. I still listen to it from time to time, but it's not me sort of thing. I've always been into that sort of jazz, you know. That's because it's that side of me as well. It's that band sort of stuff coming out again. And my granddad was a big influence from that as well, of jazz. And so that's that. We're sort of weaning onto it into the hip hop thing, and then things sort of took a bit of a wild turn after I had a breakup. I sort of thought, I just need to do something here. You know, we started lockdown, and I was like, it was literally, we started lockdown in March. I went off on furlough for 12 weeks. And during that time, I started writing a lot. I had a mate staying with me through the lockdown, and we just started recording, and it just went from there, really. And then I put my first few tunes out, and I was like, oh, I'm getting a bit of reaction here. You know, friends and family are listening to it and stuff. And I was like, oh, right, okay, you know, I might do some more. And it didn't compute into me that I was a rapper. You know, I just sort of like started writing songs. And then
making music for the love of it, you know.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. But
the best way, because like I remember, I think it would have been around middle of last year. I think I remember waiting for the kids to come out of school, and me and you messaging back and forth. You know, and like I remember listening to you. I was like, this is, you know, something. And I remember the feedback that I'd given to you.
Yeah.
And I listened to,
I was sat in this chair when we was talking. I remember that.
I listened to you now, and like that improvement in that space
Night
of
and
time,
day.
the structure and the flow and delivery of everything that you do now has gone on tenfold. And it really is great to see. So what were, like to say, you were listening to the sort of Tokens and the Tech Nines. So what are the inspirations that make Ziggy T? Who are the people that sort of make? I did this recently where I was like, artist plus artist equals you. So who would
did see that? I did see that. I was a bit late on that one, but I did see that. But yeah, it's so it's so messed up with mine actually, because I literally had a message yesterday off. I don't know if you're aware of Mickey Locks of Jedi Knights. Absolute killer MC, like, and producer as well, like. But he's we're doing some bits at the minute. We're doing some bits. I'm not going to say too much because it's still early on, but we've got stuff there sort of like ready to go. And so basically he messaged me yesterday to say, you know, I sent him a track to maybe do a feature on. He said it's so original, you know, you can't put a price on originality, but I can't put your flow on anyone else. I can't say that it's anyone else. You have an originality to the way you your actual voice and stuff. And to me, that doesn't compute. You know, what are we in now? So 3 years ago, I was rapping an American accent because I didn't like my voice, you know. So someone say that, I'm like, oh, what do you mean? But what you're saying is sort of like what everyone else has said, and it's clearly, I don't know. To me, it's a strange thing because I don't know two rappers that are like me, because I don't try and rap like anyone. I don't pull that in from anyone. Sometimes I might listen to someone heavy, like I love Lee Scott. I love like people like that come up with the creative stuff that you sort of like, it makes you stop or pause it or rewind it and go, what the fuck did you say? And so I like that, and I sort of gravitate towards that. So if I could choose two people to merge together to become, and not saying this is me, but to become, I'd probably say Lee Scott, and for an all-roundedness, Leaf Dog, because Leaf Dog has the beats, so an absolute T for me. That those types of beats is who I am like. And then if I could throw in a third, that would be the producer side. It would be Ill Informed. Ill Informed's my favorite producer.
Yeah, I mean, you say that about your voice, and it is very distinctive in the course of things, of like listening to, you know, who I listen to in Wales. Like, it's very distinctive, and the flow and the delivery is very distinctive, and I love it. I think it's brilliant, and your output over just 12 months. I mean, you've dropped, what is it, 2 projects. I've got notes here because of my memory shit.
No, that's cool.
But yeah, I've got, you know, Port Town Residence with Hollow Boy Drowsy. Then you did Out of the World with Foresight. Foresight, obviously a heavy name up this way.
Amazing.
It's brilliant to have on.
I was shocked that if we could touch on that at some point, right, it would be worth it, because
let's do. How did that come about?
Do you know what I said to Hollow Boy? We've not long sort of done the projects with Hollow Boy, and it, to me at the time, it was a pinnacle of everything, because I didn't have a project, I didn't have anything to say. That's me sort of thing. And we put it out, and it was great for a minute, but then we started like sitting back, and we both listened to it a lot, and we was like, even after 2-3 months, like you said before, the progression's been quite fast sort of thing, and even after 2-3 months, we're going, oh, we can do so much better sort of thing, like, you know, scratching our heads, what should we do next? And then he said, why don't you? Because he was very busy at the time. Obviously, he's got Well Happy and stuff like that he does all the stuff with, and he had loads of side projects going as well. So he said, why don't you just try and produce something yourself? You know music, you can do it, sort of thing. So just try and make a beat. And I made probably 15 to 20 beats. And out of those 15 or 20, I probably chose 7 or 8 that I thought, these are good enough for an EP. And then it obviously shortlisted again when I started writing the tracks. I was like, I don't want to go too nuts with it and things like that. And then I made Word Up, and Word Up was one of the final ones I actually made. And that beat was I don't know, straight away, every time I listened to it, I couldn't stop listening to it. It was something I was really proud of. Like at the time, I started saying this thing, everyone was getting bored of listening to everything I was doing, and I kept showing them and that. And that I am Ziggy T's biggest fan. Like every time I make something now, mate, honestly, it's overplayed before it's come out.
It's got to be, man. There's got to be an element of being your own biggest fan and being your own biggest supporter and getting your stuff out there. Sometimes that's the way it's got to be, you know. In a way,
it is funny to me.
Yeah,
because it's been a complete turnaround from 4 years ago where I wasn't rapping my own voice because I didn't like it to that, to now. But yeah, so anyway, so I started putting it together, and I started writing to Word Up, and it was a completely different song to what it is, and I just wasn't settled with it in my head. It wasn't big enough for the tune, for the beat. I felt like it needed to be big. It needed someone to pull it in as well, and then I started toying with the idea of getting a feature on it, and I was like, no, I want my own little EP. And then anyway, so a couple of days after, I wrote the verse to Word Up, and I put it over the first verse, and then I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And anyway, I just mentioned to Hollowboy, like, oh, I should send this to Foresight, because I was really messing with Foresight at the time. I was listening to all his albums and things like that, and exactly what I had written was what I felt like he'd come with. Like he'd talk shit like I do. Like I'm not trying to tell you a story as such. I mean, like I will obviously sometimes I'll write a song that'll have a theme or whatever, but I'm not trying to sell a story as such or anything. So anyway, so I sent it over, and I literally sent this massive paragraph. I was like, look, mate, I'm a really big fan. It was the first person I sent a message to or anything like about music, and I didn't know anyone was taking me at the time. The only thing I had to show I didn't like really, or not I didn't like, but I wasn't that proud of, and I thought I could do better. So I sent him, without the verse, I just sent him the beat, and he said, oh, I'm really messing with this beat. What's your beats for the project? Let me choose one. So I sent him all the beats, and he wanted to do originally, he wanted to do the Word Up, Fate I Rap, which we're both on, and then he wanted to do the interlude as well. He wanted to rap over the interlude, and for some reason I don't know why we didn't go with it. I kept saying no. I just kept telling him, like, I want it as an interlude. Like I don't know why. It was just in me that was the interlude.
Yeah.
And it's a long song to have as an interlude, but I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people appreciate it nowadays, instrumentals. Like, a lot of rappers put out the instrumental EP versions or album versions of their actual albums and things like that, because people just like an instrumental. And for me, it was funky enough that it didn't need lyrics on it as well. It was just a song in itself. So anyway, that's what happened with that. And then I sent him over to him, and he had him snappy, really fast back sort of thing. And I wasn't expecting. I was expecting weeks to come and things like that. And I was like, whoa, right, okay, I've got to lay my verse properly now. I've got to get everything ready. Like, what's going on here? Like, and so anyway, yeah. So I started putting stuff together, and it came so natural. There was no hiccups in it. The recording became easy. The actual mixing and mastering for me was always an issue, and on that one, it felt like it came out right. And then that's where it comes into it as well. I came really good mates with Foresight on the basis that not just did he throw 2 verses at me and not even ask for anything in return. He just literally said, if anything comes up, I'll call a favor or whatever. But it wasn't just that. It was also the fact that I sent him all the rough mixes and things like that, and he was like, do this, do that, and the difference between Port Town Residents, which I solely did myself, all the way to that, which I solely did myself, obviously with Ben's beats, the mix of them together, it was a completely different type of, ball game. Like, it felt like it was there. The project was sort of creeping up and sort of getting to a point. And so finished that. And when I finished it, it was sort of a proud moment. And that was the moment I really became the fan of Ziggy T. I switched it on, I put it on in the speakers. I mean, Hollowboy just sat here and listened to the full thing in complete, and was really happy with it afterwards, and then was like, right, we need videos, what we're going to do a video for and things like that. And that's when we did the Word video and stuff. And I still am to get that. If me and Foresight get together soon, we're going to get a video done for Word Up. We have to, because it's, to me, it's still my highest played tune on most things and things like that. It's such a good track. Everyone really bounces to it. It's been played on as many radios as I've ever been on any tune, really, and things like that. So it's definitely one that's going to, I think, please the crowd. It's a proper head bobber, like.
100%. Yeah, you can pretty much guarantee on Foresight's help to, help move the culture forward and help rein in new artists as well, which is great.
Since we did that project, my outlook on the hip hop scene has changed massively. I was always, before this hip hop thing, I was always in a band or something. So my collective was that band, or my you know, if I was doing like an acoustic thing or whatever, it was just me, myself, and I didn't get other people involved. With hip hop, it's a completely different ball game. Everyone's collaborating, everyone's helping each other, everyone's working together. And I understand, you know, if we were going for people like Sean Peng and people out, would be looking at paying a hefty price for a verse and stuff, but it, you know, you've got to stay in your lane to a certain degree, I think. But you know, as it goes, everyone I've worked with has all said yes straight away. They haven't questioned it. They haven't asked who I was or anything. It seems it's come a bit more natural. You know, start talking first over little bits, then it comes out. I've got a lot of feature work in the mix at the minute that no one knows about. Really, there's not been anything posted about a lot of it. So the next 6 months is going to be quite big for my stuff coming out. I'm currently working on an album with Follow by Drowsy. I don't know how many tracks. We haven't finalized it yet because we're still recording it, but we've got all the beats down, and I think I've got 3 tracks recorded. We've got 3 interludes and a few other bits on that. So yeah, so that's going to be just me. There's not going to be any features on that or anything. It's just going to be purely me. So we've got pretty much a full album then of just, so if I go to do a gig or whatever, I've got stuff to pull out of the bag. It's not always feature work. And then following up now over the next few months, you'll see quite a few feature tracks or remixes or whatever it may be come out from myself and other people. There's people I'm working with, like Mickey Locks, say, for instance. I started listening to Mickey Locks ages ago. And when I showed Hollow Boy, we were like, oh, we need to work with these people, you know, we need to get on tracks for these people and stuff. And it's funny to come around. It's only been a year to me. I was expecting 3 years in, might start getting features like that or whatever, but everyone's welcomed me so far who I've spoke to, and all been really nice. Like Blue City Music as well. They're both Formal and Jay, like they've both been proper supportive, and they always share the stuff, and they're always messaging me. And hopefully, if everything goes right, we've got something coming as well. So yeah, not going to say too much about everything, but there's a few people that I'm working with at the minute that I'm really proud to be working with, because that, to me, I look up to them. You know, it's not just another rapper sort of thing. And Foresight was the same. Amos was a massive for me, because Amos is next level. Like he's got a total different outlook on hip hop and stuff, and he's a genius to me.
Yeah, Amos is sort of like just almost otherworldly, like in terms of ability, and you know,
not just ability but work rate, man. I sent him the track. I spent 2 days writing the verse, because I knew I was asking Amos, but he didn't. Obviously, this wasn't planned. I just knew I was asking. So I thought,
sorry, but was this for Atom Bomb?
This for Atom Bomb, yeah. So well, I think Hollow Boy sent me the beat, and he was like, "What do you think of this?" I was like, "I need that beat." And so I was in work, and I put both my earbuds in, like, and I left. I thought, right, I'm gonna go for a quick smoke. Went out for a 10 minutes, 5-10 minute smoke, or whatever. I listened to the beat twice, and I was like, right, that's a beat that needs. I need to try and figure out what I can do on it, because it's not my style beat. I'm not used to. I'm not used to, but when we did Port Town Residence, for me, those types of beats, it felt like I was wrong being on at the time. Now I can pull them off, sort of thing. But then I felt like to ask for the beat, I thought, oh no, I don't really want to mess it up. And I was just a massive fan of it, so we got it anyway. I got it off him, and I think I messaged him saying, I don't want to be that guy, but any chance I can have it, like. And so he sent it over, and I said, I'm going to get Amos on it, and he was like, go for it, mate, go for it. So I spent 2 days writing the verse, and I wanted the verse to be as good as possible, really. And so I got it down after about 3 days. I recorded it only a couple of days afterwards. And I was sat with Hollow Boy, I showed it him, and he was proper liking it, sort of thing. And he sat over, I'm in the studio at the minute. I know it doesn't look like quite a studio because you're not seeing much, but over there's a sofa and that. And he was sat on there, and then we was both coming up with a sort of I don't know, a chorus, but we didn't want it to be a chorus, if you will. We wanted it to be a break in between the verses. Yeah. So he was literally from his sofa, where he was just sat down. I think he was more pacing up and down, actually, just going, I'm an atom bomb, or atom bomb. So I can't remember exactly how it all planned out, and I was just over him in this corner doing the same sort of thing. And we just had the mic set up and over there, just recording. He didn't know it was recording. You know what was going on, and I had it there, sort of thing, and I just played it, and he was like, whoa, that sounds freaky, like, you know, it sounds like it was all echoey. And then sent it off to Amos, and I was shocked. Literally straight away, it was like, yes, no worries, I'll have it ready for you soon. And I don't know if it was that day or the day after, but it was written and recorded the day, and it was a fresh verse. You could tell the stuff he's referencing and all that, like it's a fresh verse, and he had it recorded, written, done, and everything back over to me. I mixed it that night, and then we had it all together. I messaged, Loose Cannon Dirty Red.
Yeah.
She did the artwork for that, and I messaged her for it because I knew it needed to be a good artwork for that. I do all the artwork normally, and it's all right, but like I say, I like things DIY a little bit. I don't like things too polished. Like, I'm not trying to be the next top 10 artist. I'm just trying to rap, like. And so she did the artwork anyway, and it was just, everything just came together like really natural, like glue. Everything was just perfect. It just stuck together, and the minute I finished it, a lot of the time I go back, I tweak the mix or I tweak the master or whatever. This was just ready. It just all felt really natural, and I was really proud. But yeah, it was good, man. I love the musicians, like, it's brilliant.
Yeah. And I think that to your testament as well, like that effort to collaborate as well. Obviously, you've done a lot of work with Hollow Boy over the time that you've been running, and Hollow Boy obviously produces mega beats. And then, like you said, you've already got Foresight, Amos under your belt. And obviously working with other collaborators as well, Dirty Red, getting in on the artwork, those sorts of things, man. They, like, stuff that I love to see, the collaboration of artists, are in the vicinity, whatnot. I love to see that reach out. You've basically gone through every talking point bar one, but it's been like phenomenal to hear it from you. Just let you roll with the conversation, to be honest.
Sorry, I was talking too much, man.
One thing that I have got written down, Morva. Is it Morva? Is it?
Oh,
Morva?
shit! Right, yeah, Morva, yeah.
Just because, like, it caught my eye while I was researching yesterday, and I was just like, it seems silly.
So this is a brilliant story, really. And I don't know why I said "oh god," because it is a great story. I'm glad you both mentioned it. Right, okay. So I'll start from the beginning. me and Hollow Boy went to school together. Actually, my last year in school was in Amlwch, and I came here, and there's this long-haired little mosher, if you will, and I started becoming friends with that group, like, sort of thing. So I knew Ben in school, and after school we both drifted massively. We wasn't good enough friends to say that we was sort of like we'd see each other outside school or anything like that. He went and did his own thing, and he has a crazy life. That's his story. I'm not going to go too much into it, but yeah, he has a crazy life in between me and him meeting again. And we did have a few chats and stuff like that in between, but it was always like a 2-minute "you're right, how is it going" sort of thing. We see each other in town or whatever. But anyway, cut a long story short, we decided, I started putting out hip hop, but it wasn't, I wouldn't, it was like a very, you'll find the music if you go look for it. It's like Miss You and stuff like that. I don't know if you looked at those tunes.
Yeah.
They were like the first things I did.
Those were your early days sort of stuff.
That was the first thing, really, yeah. To me, that was my first official tune as Ziggy T, like, as such. There was a few earlier, but there wasn't anything like proper. And so anyway, yeah, when I went and did all that sort of stuff, my head was in NF, like, in that sort of style of rap, like, that's how I was. And then slowly I met Hollow Boy then, and at that point was a massive changing point. He's the one that he started, right? He's massively into UK hip hop. He doesn't really, unless it's like the classic stuff, he doesn't really go too much into the American side of hip hop and stuff like that. Funnily enough, we'll sit here and listen to German or Polish rap though, so I don't know. But so he's massively into the UK side of hip hop, and I've always been UK grime. If I was listening to UK, it'd be grime or something like that. I was never really got into drill or anything, but so I didn't really dip too far into like Blah Records, High Focus, people like that. And he's the one that started showing me all the artists off those types of labels. And RLD and stuff, and then basically over time, that's when my style started changing. I started coming in with a different type of approach to the way I was rapping. I didn't want to be a storyteller. I didn't want to be someone, because I'm not going to joke with you, I did 3 or 4 songs, and that would have been my career ended, because I had no more stories to tell. I don't mean that I have nothing in my life to talk about, but to me, I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to just keep putting myself out there like that. It was more like to me, rapping was more like a bit of a joke and a laugh, more than like too serious. And I just love music. That's why it started. I didn't try and start, I want to tell my stories and stuff. So anyway, I started changing a little bit. And so we met in high school anyway. I'm over. Okay, so in high school, me and Ben met in that same group, that same little mosher group. I don't know what you want to call it, but that's what it was. We used to call it the corner. That's where all the emos and the moshers hung out. And so anyway, yeah. So there's this other guy called Dale, and I'm not going to say his second name or anything, but yeah, he basically was a friend. There's pictures on Facebook somewhere of me and him as 15-year-old kids, like. And anyway, so we were sat on back that day, and we've seen each other over the years. Same story. Never really spoke to him outside of school, but we'd see each other, say hi, and that. And I met up with him. Well, I didn't meet up with him. Sorry, I was in town, and I was sat on this bench, and there was this guy that came along, and we started talking, sort of thing, because we were from, in the same school as well, and he was part of that group. And then so happened Dale come along as well, and he was, so it was just a weird meeting sort of thing, and he was telling us, oh look, I'm starting this new band, I'm putting this stuff out and all this, and we're like, oh cool, like, yeah, no worries, like, we'll look forward to hearing it. And but it's been the same case over the years, and he's been known as someone who rips other people's music. I'm talking like low-end SoundCloud bands, and he'd rip their music and then put it up, upload it on his, and say it was him singing and stuff. It was weird. It was really weird. Anyway, so we get to this year, and basically he'd been posting now for a year saying coming soon, and he changed his band name 3 times in that time. There was nothing coming soon, like nothing had happened. So all we said, and it was a really nice, polite thing, it was nothing crazy. We just said, don't post anything coming soon, and just do it, because people prefer that. People don't want the whole coming soon and waiting 3 months for it. They want you to just drop it and it just be good. And anyway, so then a status went up a few months later, and it was like, basically it's a metal band. It was, I can't scream, I can't do this. The album's never coming out and everything. And then that got deleted. It was one of those delete the status posts and all that. It was all really, we didn't care about it, but we just clocked it, sort of thing. It was nothing out of our lives. We were just doing our music. We didn't care about what was going on there, but it was just a weird comment we just made to say, maybe just wait until you've got something. Anyway, it all sparked from there, and things got personal. And we basically got a really good friend, and he actually helped film Rain and things like that. He has all the gear for it. He's blind, basically. He has 5% vision in each eye, and he's such a killer guy, man. He does loads of mad stuff like skates and everything. And so we proper respect him and everything, but he started messaging that guy saying, I'm surprised you can even type on your keyboard without, it was just like proper horrible, nasty, petty stuff over nothing. This guy hadn't even got involved properly. There was loads of little levels to it, sort of thing. But yeah, it all kicked off basically. It was a social media spat, if you will. Nothing more. No one went and met up with each other. There's no fights or anything like that. There was no fists. Yeah. And so, cut a long story short. Anyway, it all kicked off one night really bad, because this was an ongoing thing for a few weeks. So it all kicked off one night really bad, and I phoned up Hollow Boy, and it's like, look, have you seen this and everything? And obviously it's personal for us too, because we went to school with this guy. We know this guy. He's now kicking off and calling our friends things, and I think he made a comment something like a laughing crying face, Ziggy T sounds like the Mong from Tracy Beaker, like, and I was like, whoa. Yeah. Anyway, we're not, I just snapped. We just was like, right, we need to do something. Yeah, like but we didn't want to get into a fight or anything. We're not trying to kick off or anything. So we just said, look, because it's a small town we live in, man. Everyone talks, everyone knows it. We didn't want to get into that side of it. So we left it, and we thought, do you know what, we're just going to make a tune. We said, like, oh, it's going to be a 24-hour thing. We're going to fucking smash this out. I'm going to write it tonight. I stayed up all night writing that, and woke up the next morning after 2 hours sleep and recorded it. It was a weird night. I think Hollow Boy sent me a rough version of it the night before, and I was like, yeah, I need that. And then because he made the actual beat the night before as well. And then so yeah, we did all that in like 24 hours. It was ready about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we started posting about it. And in my head, I was like, as long as though, so it was this guy called Dale, but there was also his best mate called Anthony getting involved as well. And a very weird pair to look at. We didn't, you don't expect them to be friends and things. And there's a bit of a joke around town that they're both apparently gay. And I am honestly not against any of that. It's nothing that I couldn't care less, like, sort of thing. But it was just a staple point of like, right, okay, well, this is what I'm going to talk about if you both want to start chatting nasty stuff. And it's weird doing a diss track against a non-rapper because they can't reply in the same way. And I didn't want to put it out for that reason. I didn't want it to be like a you know, it shouldn't have been a back of it. I just wanted to squash the beef. So it was like, right, okay, if I just do that, hopefully they'll just shut up. And as long as those two heard it in my head, I was like, that's my job done. That's all I wanted. Like, I just wanted to put them down in my own way, sort of thing. That rap is what I know. That's what I do, sort of thing. So yeah, so that happened. I recorded it, we put it out. But before we put it out, about 2 hours before, the whole of Amlwch, literally, it was mental. Everyone started sharing it, posting it. Hashtag fuck Mother went off. Like, it was just like this whole thing, yeah. And we were like, we didn't mean for this to happen. This isn't what we did it for. And it's not, I'm not gonna lie, it was a boost of ego. Like, I put a premiere on it and people were sat there watching, like 45 people just waiting, watching it. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, this isn't right. Like, and then it goes off, and about 10-15 minutes later there was like 150 views, and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, it just kept building and building and building. By the end of the week it was like 700 views, and it was my most viewed video, and I was absolutely fuming about that. That was my number one annoyance, because I was like, that wasn't what it was for. It's not a tune, it's not a song, do you know what I mean? But we walk around, it's not good to say, but we walk around Amlwch now and people shout hashtag fuck Mother, and they're like, it's weird, it's really weird. But yeah, it was a weird point now. Like, I mean, I can't take it down. It's got my bulk of my views. I can't take it down, can I?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's lines in there. I mean, you know, using such language, I know there'd be the arguments. You know, there's hip hop. This is hip hop and stuff. But at the same time, there's like, if people are shouting like "mong" and stuff, like, come on, like, you know, 2021. Sort of
yeah,
thing.
I mean, to me, honestly, this is how I felt. I knew I was being as petty as well, and I just thought, I don't care. Like, it's a small town thing. No one's going to hear about it. No one's going to see it. It's not going to be a massive thing. And now, if I write anything now, I'm really cautious about what I say, because I think anyone hears this. I look at, sometimes, I never used to do it, but I look at my analytics on YouTube and Facebook, Spotify and stuff like that. People in like Germany listening, Australia, and I'm like, how are these people even? So now I know how powerful the internet really is now. I've learned my lesson to a certain degree, and it might come back to bite me on the ass one day, I'm not going to lie, but it just, to me, it was like, he's been so petty, I'm just going to stoop to his level. I'm not being the bigger person all the time, sort of thing. If anyone knows me, and this is the thing around here, it's a small town, like I say, everyone does know me, especially now. Like, but yeah, it's to me, it's sort of one of those points where it's you have got to be careful what you say, but people know from my side of it. If you know me, I ain't someone who walks around, you know, slandering people or being nasty to people, bullying people. I'm a really nice person, really. So yeah, people know that, and if they know me, so it could, you know, I understand it gets to a point where people know of you but don't know you personally, and that may come back to bite me, like I say, but.
Well, everyone's got a breaking point, innit? Everyone's got a breaking point where, you know, it's a bit more, right, I'm gonna have to do something about this. I can't just keep can't keep on biting my tongue, or
I'll tell you something, Dave. It worked. That was the end of it. Yeah, we've not heard anything else since. So it worked. It worked. Yeah.
Well, fair one then. Fair one. As we've talked about, obviously you've got plenty of collabs coming up with many people.
Yeah.
What else can we expect in the future from Ziggy T?
So I sort of made a game plan in my head now. As such, I don't, like I say, I don't plan tracks as such or anything like that, but we've got a game plan for the next sort of 6 months to a year now, of what we want to do, where I want to go, and I've got all that in my head, and it's all written down in places, and I've got sort of a game plan. So basically what it is now is we'll probably push a few singles before the album, but the album's in the works. We're going to get that out next. In between now and probably the end of December, we've got loads of feature stuff coming. And then I'm not freeing myself up every chance I get, because when I say I'm working with Mickey Locks, there's going to be a few things that a few people are going to be surprised about as well, I think, if they all go down as we such, because we're not just talking about a feature here and there, we're talking about some other stuff that you wouldn't really expect. So yeah, there's some cool stuff we're working on at the minute, but I'm not strictly keeping it to rapping and producing. I am doing a bit of sound engineering stuff for people and stuff like that, and it's weird because 6 months ago I felt like I was nowhere near it. I was speaking to Foresight about how do I sort this out. But Yeah, there's people that are digging the masters at the minute and the mixes and stuff. So there's some people who's asked me to do some stuff. So there's loads of bits like that. I'm not sticking it to just the rap and the producer side. But by what I want to do is start a slow, because of course I became a rapper during COVID. So there hasn't been a chance for me to perform. I've always performed all my life. So I don't think I'm going to step on stage and start trembling and shutting down and stuff. I just, it comes natural to me. So I don't have any qualms in doing it, but I need to start stepping my feet in the water now and start finding those little gigs I can do and getting myself in there.
So you're very much on our radar, and very much, you know, someone that we want to bring in at some point. We'll keep on looking at where, because obviously that's something that we're waiting for as well, is obviously COVID.
Yeah.
And November, Live 4 sort of a hit and hope, or hoping that like things are free, you know, we're able to move about and stuff, and hoping artists can move about and stuff as well. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're very much on our radar to get something done.
Well, that's basically it. But what I want to do is, you know, we've got the whole Focus Wales, we've got BBC Introduced, and you can do all this stuff that will boost up the radar and stuff. So hopefully that's the next game plan. Once I've got something behind me that people can look at the back catalogue, people can find me easily and stuff like that. I want to start that. I'm going to start pushing stuff like that. So that, I don't know if it's going to be this year round. I'd apply for Focus Wales and stuff, but once I've got enough beneath me, because I feel like I'm still young in what I'm doing, I feel like where I've progressed from 6 months ago or even a year ago, it is tenfold. Do you know what I mean? So
if you look at your trajectory and you know what you've accomplished in a year, then I've got no doubt that in a second and a third year that list is going to, that list of accomplishments is going to be huge. And
indeed. So
because like you've certainly, like I say, you've risen up the ranks so quick, and certainly become an established name in North Wales, and hopefully it'll be over Wales and the UK very, very soon.
Indeed.
I've normally got, Tim tells me to do this all the time, 5 quick fire questions, and I never write them down, so I'm going to try and at least do 3. So,
okay,
who is the greatest of all time?
Sorry.
Everyone pauses.
That's a hard one because I'm a massive fan of music, so it messes me up. But right, okay. My favorite of all time, I'm gonna go with Lee Scott.
Okay, sick. Favorite artist in the Welsh scene?
Foresight.
Sound. If there's anyone that you could work with, dead or alive, who are you going with?
Dirty Dyke.
That's a shout. Right, I can't remember the other 2. They're just not coming to me. So
no, that's fine. That's fine. I think we've covered a lot in this interview, so I think they're gonna have enough information.
You've done it all. I haven't had to do anything. I've just had to sit here. It's brilliant. It's been absolutely phenomenal chatting to you. Let everyone know where they can find you on social.
Ziggy T on everything. Spotify, Apple Music, anything you can find me on. I'm Bandcamp. Support me. I'll have merch coming soon. The Ziggy T cap. But yeah, find me on everything. Might have a little thing coming next week as an exclusive on Killer Tapes. I think it's next week, but I could be wrong. Yeah, Killer Tapes.
Shout out Killer Tapes as well.
Every time, man. They're always supporting us. So yeah, think we might have something coming next Thursday. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And we've got loads of stuff coming in the future. So Ziggy T everywhere.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time and for having a very easy conversation with me. It's been brilliant. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget you can find out information on us and everything else below in the description. And we'll see you again very soon for another episode of Larynx Limelight. Peace.
Gonna have to de-stream. You all know me as that rapper Ziggy T, but is that even really me? Cause it is you who made this illy beat. It's me, that's Ziggy T. You all know me as that rapper Ziggy T, but is that even really me? Cause it is